welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. It's Sunday night, Matt. We're back again for a brand new episode. Again, I swear the weeks are going faster and faster, and I was so out of it tonight I had to actually leave before we started. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I need my mic, don't I?
Microphone. You just left
Yeah.
it somewhere else.
Just left it somewhere else. I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess I need it. Well, because normally I don't record my reviews here. This is where I like film show stuff and do podcasts. I connect my laptop and I actually film in another room where the acoustics are a little better and where I'm not by like an open window.
Nice.
So yeah, that's a little peek behind the curtain, everyone, to see how I do things. In case you were oh so wondering, I should probably upgrade to like one of those new Ryzen microphones because they're smaller.
Yeah, you should probably get away from like the Blue Yeti.
Yeah.
That like apparently gives everyone troubles.
I know. I keep meaning to, but I'm like, it's expensive, and I don't make that much. What am I supposed to do? Oh no. So how's your week been?
Pretty good. When I wasn't doing some stuff for the channel, I've been working. I've been playing a lot of New World.
As have I, actually. The FOMO finally hit me, and I got aboard on that.
Me and Kurt guilted you into it.
You certainly did, you guys. You know, you tag teamed me off the ropes, hitting me with chairs. I'm like, all right. I just got paid. I'll throw down the $40 for New World. I'm level 11 right now before I started.
What's your setup? Like, what are you focusing on?
So when I began, I was, gonna go like straight hammer tank because I'm like, okay, no, that's an interesting way to go. I did that for a bit, but one of the coolest things about New World is you can basically respec whenever you want.
Yep.
So now I'm screwing around with spears and rapiers and everything. Nice. Ooh, and medium armor. Nice. Because you can dodge too, like in Dark Souls, but the heavier armor you have, the worse you are at dodging, which is interesting.
Yeah, but you actually deal more damage and healing.
Yeah, so it's there's a lot of risk reward, a lot of balance in there. That's a lot of fun. And also, you don't just buy items in the game. Everyone just kind of sells what they have.
Yeah, that's the one thing I really like. So it's like there's never really anyone who's got like the OP stuff. Like there's people with like better armor and stuff, but it's not like stuff you get from like specific drops. That's like
definitely
once in a blue moon sort of thing.
If you want good stuff, you got to trade with everyone else. Thank you, A. Carter, for that. Most appreciated. I will be sure to put that towards getting a new, less bulky microphone.
I've been playing as I first started when I did my stream on it. I was doing like fire staff and like just a sword, so sort of like a battle mage sort of thing. And then
haven't
like
screwed around with magic yet.
going into the expositions. I did my first raid a couple of days ago. So for that, I respec'd into like a DPS wizard, which was the fire staff and the ice gauntlet, and I gotta say that ice gauntlet is pretty fucking good. It's fucking good.
Haven't found a gauntlet yet. I want it. I found a musket for the first time. Shot my 10 bullets, and then I'm like, crap, I'm out of bullets now. I guess I gotta find some saltpeter to make ammo.
Or just go buy it on the market.
Or buy it. That's a thing too. I haven't found out what you do with slots yet to mod stuff. I'm still figuring that out.
It's like gems. You find them in the you can find them in drops and in expeditions, and you can like mine them once you get to a certain level in mining, and then you cut them on the stone bench and polish them, and then and each like a diamond gives you. I've got a diamond on some of my stuff, and it gives me lightning damage and lightning resistance, and each one does like a specific like lightning, then there's fire, then there's ice, then there's healing. And
well, I was even saying, because I got like the captain's hat that has a slot in it that's empty, and I got like a fang from like one of the bigger wolves that like gives upgrades. I'm like, but I can't put. Where do I go to put? These things together?
I know the one you mean. It's the don't know what the table's called, but it's the table you use to make armor. And what you can do is like what you do is like if you've got all the components to say like make a hat, you can make a hat, and then you can select in like the little drop down things, like you can select I want to put this on it and make it out of this, and it'll make it out of that.
Okay, so I just can't add it to something. I need to make this part of a bigger recipe. Okay, yeah, the crafting is fucking extensive in this.
It's really good as well though. It's not like it doesn't like overwhelm you.
No, yeah, it's all very simple. Again, reminds me a lot of like Guild Wars 2, where like if you just want to mine or cut down trees or fish even, you can do that and get really, really good at that and then sell what you make.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's very interesting that you can do that. And there's a really good, like, kind of like circular thing where, you go on a mission, you get some money, you get an item, you sell it, you buy something you want, you respec your points, you go back out there and everything. And there's like a whole faction system and everything.
Yes, I'm part of the Syndicate faction.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you magic boy. I'm a marauder. So
I'm my sworn enemy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if we can be friends. We're the ultimate brain and brawn, but that's only because I was a hammer guy when I started. I'm like, well, also that, and green controlled the area I was in. I'm like, well, I guess I want to be with the winning team.
You do get bonuses if your team controls the area and everything, and I like that. Like, there's the standing system where if you complete quests in a certain area, you can unlock like better taxes and I like equipment loadout and everything, and houses as well.
Yes, it makes you want to do the side quest, which usually in MMOs you're like, fuck that, why should I do the side quest? Because you get better at stuff in your little area for doing it.
Yeah, we are talking about New World Mind Freak, the new game from Amazon Studios.
Yes, the brand new MMO there, which is it's not a monthly subscription thing. You pay for it once and then you get to play it forever.
Yeah.
And you can tell there's like so much stuff that they're going to be putting into this later, where I'm like, hey, can I get a mount? Not now, but probably later. Also, thank you, Brody Thornton, there for the subscription.
That's the one thing I found very, very strange. I'm like, oh, there's like no mounts. That's very strange for an MMO to start off with like no mounts.
Also, the weapon thing kind of like tickles my brain goblins too. I'm like, so I can have a two-handed hammer and a two-handed axe, but no two-handed swords? Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure all that stuff will be coming in expansions and whatnot.
Oh, you know it. Also, so I have a musket but no pistol, and that's coming. It's coming.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a thing. But yeah, New World, pretty fun. It's not very often that an MMO is able to capture me, but this one is doing that.
It's very good, and again, it's probably just because it's brand new and everything. But I like the feeling I get when playing it, because there's like so many people on it. Like, there was a server here in Australia that no one could get onto because there was a 25,000 player wait queue.
Yep. Yeah, they've had to start closing them. I found that out the hard way because obviously I wanted to join the LA server that Kurt and all of his friends from the Garbage Brigade were on, so I would have people to play with who have been playing longer than me. And it's like, yeah, server's closed, buddy. You can't come here no more.
I should try and get on a server, like one that's over close to you guys, just like make a new character on those sorts. So I'll have to see like how the ping is on those type of things, because sometimes it's kind of can be kind of fucky, because again, this is an MMO that actually has servers here in Australia, which is amazing, because usually they don't do that
because the fucking Amazon infrastructure, so it's everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm on Tarnish, I believe is the name of my server, but then again, it might be fill up by now, so who the hell knows?
Yeah I know they're bringing in a server transfer for your character, so if you want to move over to another server, you'll be able to do that for free.
Yeah, so if if you see a guy running around in Tarnish named H. Helmsley, that's me. Yes, it's a Triple H joke. Yes, because I used a sledgehammer. Hilariously, this is one of the only times in a game where I feel I was actually able to make a character that looked exactly like me. Brown hair, green eyes, whaler beard, because it's like based in the colonialism era, and slicked back hair with a ponytail. I'm like, oh shit, it's me. I made me super easily in this game. Never has that happened. So yeah, it's New World, and there was another thing you were chomping at the bit to talk about, Matt, and I want to hear you talk about this because I need someone to explain it to me. What is the Squid Game, Matt, that everyone is talking about in my feed? It's either Squid Game or Midnight Mass in my feed, and I'm just like, I could look into this, or I could have Matt explain it to me because it'll make for a good podcast.
Yeah, no, so everyone and their mother and their dogs is watching Squid Game. I came on like,
because it's a K-drama.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's action focused. It's not too heavily on the drama stuff. There's a bit of action, like a bit more than most K-dramas. But yeah, it's a South Korean TV show on Netflix. It's a Netflix original that I think came out. Did it come out Friday?
I guess so. That's when I started hearing about it.
Yeah, I want to say I think I watched it on Saturday. But yeah, it's a battle royale type show where a bunch of people who are like desperate for money from all walks of life come together in this big sort of game run by like faceless masks like elites on an island.
The villains from Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah, villains from the Hitman games and all that sort of stuff.
Hey, there you go.
To play games for like money, and every time someone dies, their worth, or which is something like a million or $1 billion, goes into the pot. So the more people die, the bigger the pot gets, and it's sort of like an incentive for these people. And
so it's an allegory for capitalism, is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much. And the games are based around. Apparently, there's a game in South Korea called the Squid Game, which is like a children's game. And all the things are like based around like children's games and stuff, like, because it's related back to the story with the main characters and all that sort of stuff.
Of course.
But yeah, like the first one's like a red light, green light game where there's like this weird doll and it turns around and you got to like move forward, and when it turns around you got to like stop. If you don't stop, you get fucking shot. What were the other games? There's the one
so it's like Saw too.
Yeah, kind of like a more violent like Wipeout.
Oh, cool.
There's like a game where there's like some, it's like a sugar cookie thing with like a shape, and you got to cut the shape out without cracking it, and if you don't, you get fucking shot. There was one where like you got to play a bunch of different like marble games, and the one with the most marbles at the end between the two wins, and the loser gets shot, and like all these really cool games. The final game one of the final games I really like, which was like there's these panes of glass, and you've got to like some of the panes of glass are made properly, the other ones are like breakaway glass, and they're suspended across this like bridge that's like
so you gotta 100 feet
chance. Up. So you got to like choose the right order to go across, and if you don't, you fucking fall.
Oh, that is clever. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it was great, and like the characters as well were really fun. There's like gangsters who like try and like run the game. They run the game to try and like get the money. They think they're like smarter than the people running the game. It's like, oh, this is easy money. We'll just like murder everyone between the games, and like we'll be the last left alive. So they have to give us the money. And
so it's like Gantz too.
Yeah, a little bit like Gantz. Actually, a lot like Gantz in a way.
Yeah, now that I stop and think about it, hey, it sounds a lot like Gantz. It sounds fucking cool, though. I can see why people are into this.
Yeah, definitely give it a try. I think it's only like 8 episodes.
Oh, well, that's good.
So it's easy to watch. And as well as like if people want other shows like that, Netflix has you covered. They've got another one called Alice in Borderlands, which is based on an anime, which is based on a manga, which is very much similar. It's a Japanese one where they get transported to like an alternate Earth and have to play all these different games based on like the cards, like the Ace of Clubs and all that sort of stuff. You got to collect all the cards to go back to your world, and there's like
that sounds like my jam.
Again there's like people that are like running the game, like gangsters who like set up like giant groups to go collect other people's cards and kill them while their games are like playing and everything. And the games in that one are really fun as well. There's like a tag game where they're pursued through like an apartment building by like a horse mask wearing guy with an Uzi.
Oh, so Manhunt.
Yeah.
The more we talk about this, the more I'm reminded of other things I like. Now, let me ask you this, because I know this actually became a bit of a debate on Twitter, too, around the show. Did you watch sub or did you watch dub?
I watched sub.
Sub, I know that's quite a thing, because, what is it, a bunch of the voice actors I follow on Twitter, apparently did the dub for this one, and they were very proud of that, too. And I know Taika Waititi weighed in it, actually. And he's like, hey, everyone, you don't have to watch the English dub if you don't want to. You could watch, the sub there, and, you'll probably get more from the performances, just saying.
Yeah, I watched Alice in Borderland with the dub, and it was pretty good, but, like, yeah, you can see what he means. Like, you just switch it over, and it's, like, kind of completely different in tone and everything.
Also, too, some people were fucking up, apparently, when they were choosing their English subtitles. They had English closed caption, not English subtitles, which are very different, because the English closed caption...
They're approximations, basically.
It's an approximation, not the real thing, so some people were having a really bad experience because they picked the wrong English.
It's the same with when you watch like anime in the native language. Sometimes they only have closed captions, and it drives me insane. This is what they're saying makes no sense.
No, it's fucking alien speak is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll definitely kill your interest. All right, you sold me on this one. I had so much stuff to watch this week because Doom Patrol was back, Stargirl was back, like getting 3 Law and Orders this week now that I catch up on, and I watched The Many Saints of Newark, the big Sopranos prequel movie.
I heard that's pretty bad.
I'll say this. I had fun with it. I enjoyed it because it answers the longest hanging Sopranos fan question that they've had forever. But boy, did it probably not need to be a movie. It probably could have just been a short. Okay. It's not as good as the show, but man, do they have some really amazing performances in this. Like the lady playing Tony's mom, holy shit, is it scary the way that she like channels the old lady from the show.
I did see her, Vera Farmiga. She's really good, yeah.
Like scary good. You got John Bernthal in there. You got the dude from Billions in there.
Mm-hmm.
You got James Gandolfini's son, Michael Gandolfini, who plays him.
Yep.
Which that's pretty interesting, even though young Tony's actually a very small part of the movie, despite what
I've heard that.
The marketing will lead you to believe.
I've heard that he's like basically a secondary character, and it's not really about him at all.
No, it isn't. But also maybe David Chase is kind of angling to try and get a sequel series. Yeah. Like, hey, but you know what I'm really good at is TV, though. Would you like to see the adventures of young Tony Soprano?
You'd think that they do that for like HBO Max or something. There's like more content for that. You know,
you would think. The person who gets the most let down is Leslie Odom Jr. because he plays a new character in the thing that they try and tie the story together and being like, oh, Christopher's dad and this guy, they used to be friends, but then they became hated enemies because of love and business, and they were on a collision course with each other, and oh, maybe he's the one who killed Christopher's dad. But if you watch the show, you're like, no, that didn't happen. And then nothing happens at the end of the show, and it's like, oh, so he was literally... The whole B plot of the movie is a red herring that goes nowhere.
No, oh no.
That's disappointing. In fact, again, without giving too much away, the whole mystery of like, oh, what happened to Dickie Moltisanti? It's exactly like what you thought it was, except for one last thing that doesn't really change anything. You're like, oh, okay. That's fine, I guess. Maybe it was better that we just wonder.
Yeah.
It's one of those prequel questions that once you answer it, it's like, oh, I think I enjoyed wondering more.
Yeah, it takes the magic out of it.
A little bit when they give like a definitive answer. Where it's like, okay, I guess that's that. Then I won't spoil it in case you are Sopranos fans, but yeah. I would say check it out, but don't see it in theaters, even though that is an option.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna watch the series again before watching the movie. I'm not in any hurry to watch it.
That's probably the best way to go about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way. Also, don't see it if you've never seen the show, because you will be lost as fuck.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I heard reviews saying that where it's like, oh, you don't need to see Sopranos to appreciate it. No, you will. There's literally whole scenes that only exist because characters in the show told a story about this that happened one time.
I think a lot of people assumed you'd be able to watch it because it's a prequel. So you don't need that baggage of the seasons of Sopranos to watch it.
Tony and Artie steal an ice cream truck. Why? Well, because they mentioned it in the show one time. Tony fights a guy while Carmela is watching. Why? Because she told that story one time.
Yeah.
There's like several scenes and like, why is this scene here? I'm like, oh, because they told that story. That's why.
I mean, it's pretty impressive that they were able to like keep track of all that sort of stuff.
Oh, very. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and they probably wouldn't have been able to do that without David Chase. Also, Ray Liotta plays 2 characters.
Oh, really? Well,
yes.
Are they brothers or something?
Yes, identical twins. They're doing the fucking Bruce Lee thing.
Oh, nice.
Ray Liotta plays himself, and then he plays his own brother.
Oh, okay then.
It's fucking madness. And like literally, the first time you see Ray Liotta, it's like, well, why is he yelling and hamming it up so much? Oh, because he does the exact opposite of his brother. That's why. This is how Liotta acts now in 2021. But yeah, so there's your movie updates, everyone. But we're not done with movies and box office yet, because our first story, as recommended by all of you, the fans and the listeners out there, I felt equal parts lazy this week, and also because there wasn't enough news in general, so I left it to all of you on Twitter to tell me and Matt what you wanted us to talk about this week, and you came through with us with some stories.
You did, yeah.
So let's talk about our first news here, which does involve movies and box offices and things you can see right now. Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, The Carnage Begins, Return of the Carnage, all the time, apparently ended up earning $90 million on Friday alone, which is huge because that's basically pre-pandemic box office.
Yeah, well, I think it made more than its predecessor.
Budget?
More than its predecessor. Yeah, well, it definitely probably made back its budget, yeah.
Yeah. Which is fucking nuts. And again, I'm just hitting my head off the wall. It's like, so we did it again, huh? We did it all again.
That's what's really confusing to me, because like I've seen some of the reviews and they just say it's like, it's not very good. It's like pretty much more of the same, and that more of the same was pretty bad the first time round.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just perplexing. And it's even worse when you think about it, because these aren't proper representations of the characters. Like,
no,
from everything I mean, it's a PG-13 film, but from everything I've heard, it's like Carnage is not Carnage at all.
No, I didn't see the movie, and I'm guessing you didn't see it either, because it's not.
I'm not going to be able to see the movie until the beginning of December.
Oh, yeah, you were saying on Twitter that Australia really moved around the releases.
Yeah, so I'm going to be able to see Eternals before I get to see Venom, which I'm crazy. Oh no, I get to miss Venom. Oh, what a shame.
Oh no. Yeah, like here's the thing. If this, like, the only way I was going to watch this is if this was on video on demand. Mm-hmm. I wasn't going to see it in a non-pandemic, and I certainly wasn't going to risk my life and health and the health of those around me to see Venom, but apparently lots of people did. Apparently lots of people can't get enough of this big black gooey bastard.
I just don't understand it. Like, and it's like, yeah, everything I've seen about him, it's like, yeah, it just looks like more of the same shit.
It feels like a joke I'm not in on. Like everyone's just having a laugh. Like everyone saw it ironically and didn't tell me they were all seeing it ironically.
Yeah, and again, it apparently is very much like how the first film was. It's a movie that should have come out in like 2007.
Like that, yeah, exactly. It feels like a movie out of time. It feels like a comic book movie from a time when people didn't get what it took to make a good comic book movie. It's kind of shocking, but then again, people, I guess, as Ludwig Dracula in the chat said, people just like to see Tom Hardy be a goof, and they just promised more of that.
I guess. Although the one thing I've been seeing a lot of is people romanticizing, like shipping Venom and Hardy. I'm like, no, don't, please read about Venom. It's like sort of an analog for like addiction
an abusive relationship.
And abuse. Don't do that. I don't care how fun the film is or anything. Don't do that.
It's Venom. He's literally an evil parasite.
He's a parasite that eats off your fear and like life force and stuff. Yeah.
Eats you from the inside out and lies to you about having cancer sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things, too, where it's like there was also a lot of talk about the post-credit and what this could mean, because, you know,
I
the Marvel
Universe... I actually saw that on TikTok, like the full post-credit scene.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but someone described it to me because fucking spoilers were inescapable on this, and I'm like, again, without spoiling it here, because I'm not going to be that asshole, it's like, okay, so you did the thing. Now what do you do now that you've did the thing?
I'll say this, they did the thing, and it means that the third film will probably end up being a more modern film and probably a lot better off. The problem is that I can't really explain it without actually spoiling it.
We might as well not. We'll just move on from that and be like, you know, we'll come back to this at a later. A. Carter says, please do a Venom 2 commentary. I mean, maybe we'll have more to say than the first one. Like that first Venom commentary, it's like, I have nothing to say because nothing is happening.
Yeah, nothing happened in that film.
Bizarro guy says they tried and make Cletus into a sympathetic character. Oh my.
Yeah, that's what I think his whole motivations are around what's the word, Scream or whoever the female character is in the symbiote. Shriek, yeah. It's all around her, and I'm like, yeah, that's not Cletus Cassidy at all. Like, he would murder her if it advanced his plot, you know.
Well, hey, we got, Woody Harrelson, and, you know, Woody Harrelson was in a pretty famous movie where he and a woman traveled across country killing people, so, I mean, we might as well just do natural-born killers here in this Venom movie, because kids love natural-born killers.
Yeah, referencing movies they've probably never seen.
And probably can't see because they're R-rated and fucked up.
Yeah.
But Iron Man is a natural born killer, so maybe that's something. Good. Yeah, I don't understand it, but I guess people are having fun, and I'm not gonna yuck their yum on this one, even if I deeply do not understand it.
Yeah.
And part of me is like, God damn, I'm gonna have to keep talking about Venom now moving forward, aren't I?
Yeah. Well, again, like as I said, so that post-credit scene might mean that third film might be a bit better.
I guess we'll see. But then it's like, just making it better. Is that what people want? Because I feel like the people who are into this series,
well,
ironically,
I should say
maybe
it might mean maybe Tom Hardy might get more of a character instead of just sweating profusely.
But maybe that's what the people come for, Matt. Maybe that's what they want. They like it when he gets in the lobster tank, and that's what apparently we get more of in Venom 2, more lobster tank. That's what we got to do. That's what the people pay for. They pay for weird tentacle stuff, and Tom Hardy in the lobster tank is what they want. Also, maybe implied romanticism between Venom and the symbiote, which is a weird thing for people to latch onto. But also, I kind of got to tip my hat to Hollywood to be like, okay, so you have figured out about weirdo shipper culture, huh? And now you're ready to make some money off that. All right. Took you long enough, but okay. I mean, works for people online. I guess it can work for you too, I suppose. Still not the Venom I would have wanted, but I mean, if people are liking it, that's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't all be for me. I mean, we've been spoiled by the Marvel Cinematic Universe where we've enjoyed every single one, so,
That's true, yeah.
I mean, they can make one that's not for us. It's all good. So that's that.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. I guess moving on from there to another story. This one actually does involve Disney Marvel. They settled their big lawsuit with Scarlett Johansson. This seemed like the biggest story there for a little bit. It felt like the end of days, but it wasn't because they just settled it out of court like we knew they were going to.
Yeah, and of course, I think the report was say she got paid like $40 million, and she's going to be starring in the new Tower of Terror film.
So it sounded like everyone won and everyone's hands got greased on the way out.
Exactly.
So there you go.
Exactly like most people who were level-headed like us knew were going to happen.
Yeah. Again, that's what you always got to be on the watch out for, stuff like this on the internet when people try and blow this shit out of proportion. Most of the time in Hollywood, people want the least amount of headache and the least amount of bad press, and usually that just means throwing money at a problem until it goes away.
Yeah. The 99% of problems, I think, in Hollywood are dealt with that.
Yeah, just out of court, dealt with it. I wonder what the ripple effects will this be, because obviously Johansson got her money, and there was a lot of talk about a lot of other stars who had their movies released to digital that they didn't want, like the Cruella movie and everything. Are those actors going to be getting their money too now to try and stop more lawsuits?
Again, I think it comes down to like those contracts, because I think it was in her contract that it does get it wasn't stipulated that it was going to be like a dual release.
Yeah.
So there's like warrant there. So I don't know the specifics on any of the other ones.
No, me neither. And we probably won't know.
No.
Until something comes. But you got to wonder, has this soured Johansson on working with the company, or will she be happy to work with anyone who gives her $40 million?
She's working, like, she's got another film with them coming out.
So I guess it all worked out for everybody.
It's fine. Yeah.
It's all fine, and maybe we'll see her in What If, or maybe we'll see her referenced somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because, with that What If show, some people do voices, some people don't.
Yeah,
maybe next season.
It's very strange how they, who they choose to get the voices on. I guess it's just like, okay, who is around?
Who's free?
Who's in the office this week?
Yeah, I guess so.
Who's shooting a film that we can just go set up a microphone on?
Now, that being said, What If also has some truly great, regular workaday voice actors in there, like Josh Keaton actually gets to be all over it.
Yeah.
They should concoct a reason for Josh Keaton to be Spider-Man is what they should do.
Have him show up as Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah, next season they should make that happen. It should totally be a thing. That'd be fun. I wonder if there's like contractual shit with that. It's like, well, actually you can't because you were Spider-Man with the other people, so they still technically kind of own that, so we're not allowed to have you voice him.
Marvel Studios might not even have a say in that. Maybe that say belongs to Sony.
I don't know. It would be very interesting. I would like to, if we asked Josh Keaton, he'd probably answer.
He probably would, yeah.
Is there any reason? Is there any like contractual thing that you had to sign? Is there a thing? He's a good dude. He answers questions. I'm sure he'd let us know. Because that'd be a great way to like backdoor that into existence. Like, hey, everyone, remember this guy?
Yeah. Him or like Yuri Lowenthal.
Yes.
Get them all involved.
That'd be fun. I actually, I regret to say, because I've had so many other shows this week, and because Many Saints of Newark was like 2 hours, I have not watched the final episode of What If yet.
Oh, it's not the final episode.
Oh, it's not?
This week is the final episode.
Okay.
There was actually originally 2 other episodes, but they moved one to the second season.
Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. That's interesting. I wonder which one they moved.
The Tony Stark goes to Sakaar one.
Oh, really? Holy shit.
I'm not sure why they moved it there, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why.
But I think I know why. I think it's because like it would feel out of place with them building up like this story of like gathering characters together,
right.
And then suddenly it's like, oh, Tony Stark on Sakaar, you know.
It breaks the narrative flow.
Yeah.
If we have this one in here.
Yeah, and maybe it's something to do with like another movie that's coming out or something.
Maybe. Who knows? Now, moving on from there, we got a little bit more MCU news. Though, really, this is more of a rumor that the internet has kind of like, latched on to.
Decided is true.
Has decided is true. Also, thank you, Jace Jensen, there, helping us out. Josh Keaton says he wants to be in Spider-Verse 2, so fingers crossed he gets to be Spider-Man again. Oh, yeah, fucking let him be in it.
Yeah, let him come in and do a voice somewhere.
In an infinite world of Spider-Man, let him be one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it kind of seems like they want the celebrity actors to be the Spider people, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, again, it's an infinite world. He can be a Spider-Man.
You can be a Spider-Man somewhere, just, a little tip of the hat nod to those who know.
Yeah.
But, yes, back to the rumor we were talking about there. Apparently, everyone is certain now that Daredevil is set for some manner of MCU return. Maybe even they're going to backdoor pilot it in the Echo show that is coming.
It's funny, like, every time I hear about the Echo show, I hear how it's never about Echo. It's always about, all these characters. I'm like, so this isn't going to just be... This isn't... Like, there's not going to be any room for Echo in her own show. It's just going to be all these other characters that everyone will care about more.
Yeah, probably not a great way to build your show that the only thing people can talk about is everyone else who might be showing up in it. It's especially crazy where it's like, oh, yeah, we're going to backdoor Daredevil's return in Echo because Echo got her start in Daredevil.
And it's funny as well because this also builds on the fact that people are sure that Matt Murdock will be in No Way Home in the Spider-Man film because Peter Parker's going to court and Matt Murdock is the only lawyer in New York
in the entire universe.
Like I haven't heard any like solid claims. Like I think that's it. It's like he's got a court scene and who's a lawyer? Oh, it's Matt Murdock. It's got to be him. It's got to be him.
Likewise, people are so certain that Kingpin will show up in the Hawkeye show.
Yeah.
And similar rumors as the chat is saying that the Punisher will also be in the background of one of these other MCU shows.
Yeah, I don't know whether he will be because he's gone from comics at the moment.
Yes, Punisher is in cultural timeout right now.
Yeah, I mean they could bring him back without the skull, but why bother?
I mean, fuck me, he barely wore it in his goddamn TV show, didn't he?
Yeah.
As I look back on, the Netflix universe of shows, it's like he really didn't wear the fucking... He had the simplest costume, and he didn't even wear it for most of his fucking series.
Yeah, he wore it like a couple of places, but that's about it.
Well, the only thing I remember, and I didn't even watch it, was the clips making the rounds there. It was the final episode of season 2, and the Punisher, yelling loudly and shooting 2 guns, like in that famous cover. It's like, in loving memory of Stan Lee. I'm sure that's how Stan wanted to be remembered.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I would like these rumors to be true. I would like that we could, see Charlie Cox ride again as Daredevil. But also, I'm not going to be heartbroken if it doesn't happen either because there's so much other stuff happening in the Disney Plus MCU shows.
Yeah, and especially if it's going to be... for me, it doesn't make any sense to put these characters in a show that is a brand new character, for most people. Because it's just going to take the spotlight away from them, and everyone just be like, whatever, who cares about Echo, but because Daredevil was in this episode.
Unless they have no faith in Echo, unless they like greenlit it too soon and they're like, Echo, the truck's running.
Echo is getting springboarded out of Hawkeye because she's in Hawkeye.
Right, that's right.
So we're gonna see her there first, and there's probably gonna build up into her show and go into there, and they're making a push for her in the comics at the moment.
Very much so.
So yeah.
She got to be the goddamn Phoenix. That's probably the biggest push any character can get.
Yeah.
We made you a literal goddamn god. How's that work for you? But yeah, so this is the news, which is really more of a rumor. Only time will tell. And I would say for the most part, the MCU has been pretty good with keeping, secrets like this actually secret.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I feel more watching them than I do other stuff where it's like, oh, I was actually surprised by that. I didn't think they'd be in it.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if they were, but then I wouldn't mind if they weren't.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm kind of indifferent to it, basically.
They have enough stuff going on right now. I'm not going to be heartbroken if it doesn't happen. Would like to see it, but I'm not going to obsess over it either.
Yeah.
Because, our cup runneth over. We're eating good, as they say.
Yep.
Now, next up from there, we actually have some stories that you had brought together for us, Matt. So I'm going to do something completely different. I'm going to turn the tables, and I'm going to let you take point on some of these.
So Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special and Volume 3 apparently begin filming very soon. I think, mid-November, maybe.
Cool.
So someone, I think on Twitter, asked James Gunn about, who's going to be in the Holiday Special, whether there's anyone... any new characters or anything, and he mentioned that there was apparently he's going to introduce the greatest character to the MCU thus far in this show. And I immediately thought it was going to be Santa Claus, and we're going to get Omega level mutant Santa.
Oh my god, they could do it now.
James Gunn would do that. He would fucking do that.
Oh my god. Ho, Guardians, I've got you everything you've ever wanted.
It'll be something like that. It's not going to be Galactus is going to show up, or, Annihilus or anything like that. It's going to be something like that.
Yeah, because James Gunn's a fucking cut-up. He's a jokester.
Yeah.
It's going to be like the fucking Mandrill or Armless Boy or something really stupid.
Frog Man or something.
Frog, yeah, exactly. It's going to be someone dumb, but I love the idea of it being Santa Claus who exists within the Marvel cosmology.
Yeah, and it'd be also really great because it'll be technically this is the first time mutants have appeared in the MCU, and it's Santa Claus.
It's Santa, and it will stay forever. That's what it is. Doesn't that blow your mind?
And again, it's the holiday special, which is going to be on HBO Max, Disney Plus. So again, you've got to think they're not going to introduce someone big on HBO Max, not HBO Max, Disney Plus.
There's too many apps now. It's hard to keep them
They're
straight.
All the same.
Apple TV, Hulu Plus. Those ones. You got to love those ones. Yeah, I am super stoked for a holiday special. I love that this is a thing. I love that it's a Star Wars reference.
Yeah, it's great. It's so cool.
Jace Jensen helping us out again. Santa needs to hand Rocket a giant candy cane gun. If not, I'll riot. Oh, that would be the thing. He'd have something in his sack for everyone. And for you, Rocket, I have the biggest gun in the universe. And for you, Quill, I have a charge cord for your Zune.
No, he gets AirPods.
Ah, yeah, there you go. I have AirPods for you. Gamora, I have a healthy relationship with your family. Or maybe I bring you back to, or maybe I give you back your memories, maybe? Maybe we can do that? They kind of left that in a weird place, didn't they?
Yeah, again, these, I imagine these will talk about that sort of stuff. That'll be the story going into these.
Yeah. Hey, Drax, I brought your daughter Moondragon back to life. Isn't she cool?
She can now be part of the team.
Yay! New fun character. Everyone loves this.
And then he just rides off into space.
Maybe his ship is bigger than the Milano. That, it looks like a sleigh, but it's actually a super advanced, Kree starship.
Yeah, yeah.
I got this when I was fighting in the Space Wars.
I stole this from Galactus.
Yeah, really. Oh, Galen owes me $5. If you see him. Tell him. Yeah, there's so many places they could go with this.
Yeah, if it's not Santa, but I imagine it will be. It might be like an allusion to like I don't know, Adam Warlock, because we still got that stuff to deal with.
Yeah,
left over from Volume 2 and all that sort of stuff. Maybe who's the female version of Rocket Raccoon? His like white girlfriend.
Yeah, the one who it's like with the blackjack rabbit and them. Yeah. She's an otter, isn't she?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, they could totally do that. Because, yeah, I mean, if it's a holiday movie, let's get all the, furry Muppet characters in there we can.
Yeah, to sell some toys.
Hell yeah. Because that's the true meaning of Christmas. Selling toys. Quill just wants his Turbo Man action figure that he never got as a kid. So now they're going to scour the universe looking for it.
Let's go back in time to get it.
Oh my god. Hey, we can do that. Or go to a multiverse where the toy is still available.
The toy never sold out, and you can easily pick one off cheap on eBay.
It's them wanting to get a PS5. Like, no one can get it, not even the Guardians.
And no one in space can get it.
We have to go to the deepest, darkest parts of space to get it. Nah, he's so far behind the times it would be a Sega. Like, oh, I want a Sega Dreamcast. It's the coolest, bestest console ever, and always will be, guy. There's only one junk world that has it, and, we're gonna have to fight our way back past some snare beasts to get it.
Oh no, it's now popular again with retro gaming sweeping the galaxy.
Exactly, it's now actually super expensive. Oh, there's only one Sega Dreamcast left in the Milky Way galaxy, and it's in the clutches of Null.
And they end up getting it and everything, and the only game you can play on it is like Crazy Taxi.
But it has a great soundtrack, though, like the Guardians movies. Yeah. And on that note, everyone, I think we can move on to the next story. What else did you have, Matt?
So this last couple of days we've had the Tokyo Game Show, and
that's right.
I think from that, I don't think it was actually announced. It was more of sort of like a rumor about what was happening, and that is that Konami, the infamous pachinko maker Konami, has decided they want to get back into making actual video games and not soccer simulators. And they've decided to. The rumor is that they are going to be doing new installments into Castlevania, Silent Hill, and Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, do ya now? Wasn't the last several like Silent Hill games just you're attempting to reboot it and it not taking, and also didn't you get the Metal Gear guy so pissed at you he left it and went elsewhere?
Well, they like forced him to leave because of how they were treating him.
Yeah, but, didn't you like force him out?
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing is because on top of this, like, again, this is all just rumors. But the rumor is that Kojima and his Kojima Productions will be doing the Silent Hill game, because that was what they were originally going to be doing when he was at Konami.
Silent Hills.
He was doing, well, that's what PT was. It was Silent Hills with Norman Reedus. And apparently he's going to be doing that. And the only reason the report said the only reason this is happening is because Sony's sort of the intermediary, where Kojima is technically working for Sony.
Hey kids, play nice and make us money.
Yeah, pretty much.
But look, I mean, will we get Norman Reedus and more funky fetuses? That's what we need to know in scary hallways.
Probably. I have to imagine there'll be a Silent Hill game coming out. Some new Silent Hill game. Don't know about... I know Castlevania makes sense since that anime is like insanely popular.
Very popular. So, which I have still only watched the first 2 episodes, and they re-released all those cult Game Boy ones on the Switch just recently.
Yeah, just like the last week, I think.
Which is pretty good.
But yeah, Metal Gear Solid's probably the one I'm like, I don't know whether about a new installment, maybe a remaster.
Yeah.
Because like, trying to play these games on like newer consoles it's
damn near impossible.
It's possible, but it's very difficult.
That's why I never really got into it.
Guns of the Patriots, the 4th one, you have to own like a PS3 to play it. Like you can't really play it on anything else.
There's 2 really good like PSP and PS Vita games that you can't get unless it's part of a bigger collection.
Yeah, they did sort of release, I think it was Metal Gear Solid 1 and Soldiers of Liberty on PC recently, but it's like a garbage like port. Oh. It's not very good.
Thanks, Konami. Also, they technically kind of did remake the first Metal Gear, but only for the GameCube, and also that version of the game is really hard to find.
Yep. And it's even funnier because when they released Metal Gear Solid 5, they had that like new engine, and everyone's like, oh, this would be like perfect for like to remake stuff, and they actually ended up remaking, I think, quite a fair bit of Metal Gear Solid 3, the one everyone wants remade because it's so good. They ended up remaking parts of it for the pachinko machines. Oh, jeez. Because there's like someone posted a video of like the pachinko machine for Metal Gear Solid 3, and it's like all brand new cutscenes rendered in like high res 4K from the new Fox engine that they released for Metal Gear Solid 5. And now the Metal Gear Solid 5 engine they're just using in that that soccer simulator they put out. Was it PES?
Right.
So you make this great fucking engine for like these great sort of stealth games, and you just use it for a soccer game.
Yeah, you know. I learned a hilarious thing about pachinko, how they actually managed to skirt gambling laws when it comes to pachinko machines.
Yeah.
You only play for the little balls. You turn the balls in for prizes at the thing, but most pachinko parlors have a place around the corner where you can legally go take your pachinko balls and turn them into cash. So that's how they skirt the gambling laws, where it's like, technically, we're not changing the balls in the building, so technically it's fine.
It's just the building next door.
Just the building next door. Oh, Japan. Japan, you so... It'd be like a freaking Chuck E. Cheese if you took your ticket somewhere else and got cash. Matt, we gotta
go around the back of the building, and Chuck E. Cheese will be out to exchange it for cash.
Yeah, we got to start doing that, man. We got to open our own Chuck E. Cheese. That's just a cover for a gambling operation is all it is. Charles Entertainment. Speaking of Chuck E. Cheese, you see what they're doing now because of the pandemic, because obviously they can't have people in the restaurant anymore.
Oh, what are they doing?
They started opening ghost kitchens now, where it's like if you want pizza on your food delivery app, you see a place where it's like, oh, I've never seen that pizza place before, and you order it and the box is different, but it's just Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think they got caught, though, because they were, like, too cute with it. They called it something like Chez Charlie. It's like, hey.
Yeah, we've got a couple of ghost kitchens here that's like, they do, like, Korean chicken. And then there's this other place that pops up that does, like, Alabama chicken. I'm like, wait a minute. Hang on.
It's one of these things is not... Yeah, that happened in my small town, too, which I didn't think my town was even big enough to have ghost kitchens, but yeah, we got a couple places now. We got a sandwich place. I'm like, where the fuck is... I've never seen this sandwich place before in my life. Oh, it's that kitchen in the gas station. Oh, okay. Or like, oh, pierogies and poutine. I'm like, where the fuck is that? The fancy restaurant up the hill is making like greasy spoon bar food and overcharging for it and selling it out the back. Fucking ghost kitchens.
That's funny.
See, that needs to be like a brand new like superhero book, Ghost Kitchen, about a bunch of like vampires and Frankensteins and like phantoms who work in a restaurant.
And like their aim is to get like the Michelin star.
Oh, because then they can finally pass over. Only if they get a Michelin star.
they're like the ghosts and like the zombies of like failed chefs.
Oh god.
Who like died on the way to making the Michelin stars.
Yeah, really. And, you know, the villain is just a thinly veiled Gordon Ramsay who's just yelling at the spirits of the undead.
Yep. He owns the rival kitchen that's full of, like, zombie hunters and everything.
Oh, no. Captain Kun with a good one. Put some respect on the name of Charles Entertainment Cheese the Third. The first one died in the war. Now, that's a movie I want to see. Like, the Mascot Corps, just like a bunch of mascots fighting in World War II. They're the most elite, dangerous unit, the Mascot Corps. We got a giant mouse. We got a guy who looks like a tire. We got everything. Alabama chicken is just a live chicken with a 12-gauge shotgun delivered to your front door.
Yeah, exactly.
Figure it out. What do I... Well, now I just have a loaded gun and a pet chicken, apparently. And we ordered pizza.
Chuck E. Cheese is a really great typo. That is so great.
It really fucking is. It's really solid. There's a great food restaurant out there called Doughboys. In fact, I think it's one of the guys from How Did This Get Made, or one of those other podcasts is on it.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm probably mixing up, but it's on the same network as How Did This Get Made. And they did one on Chuck E. Cheese, and that was literally the joke. It's like, well, let's open a brand new restaurant called Cuck E. Cheese, where you just take your children, and, you know, another man comes and is just a better father to them. Pushes them on the swing, reads to them, puts money into their college fund, and, you know, it's just fun for everybody.
That's great.
Cuck E. Cheese, where a kid can cuck his father. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Yes, exactly. Ronald McDonald would also be on the mascot core, but like the really creepy version of Ronald McDonald, like the first draft version.
Yeah, the ones that like they had those like chairs where you could like sit with him and get a photo taking.
That's the one, yeah. And he just throws burgers at people.
Yep. And the burgers like explode.
Oh, yeah. He throws a hamburger and a Nazi's like, eat this American hamburger. And the German's like, well, actually, you know, they are called hamburgers because they are from the Hamburg region of Germany. Shut the fuck up. Same with the donut. It was called the Berliner. Shut up. And yes, before someone tells me, yes, I know the ancient Mongols were eating, like, beef patties in their saddlebags, like, way before anyone, if we want to get really, freaking, you know, in the weeds with it. For who really owns the hamburger. Now, you had one more piece of gaming-related news there, because we needed to try and, you know, stretch it out.
Yeah, so Sony keeps up with their acquisitions, and it was kind of like, I'm surprised it took them this long. But they recently bought up Blue Point Games, the guys behind the recent excellent Demon's Souls remake for the PlayStation 5.
I guess this is just kind of the future of game development now, where everyone is just kind of building their war chest now, and like if Microsoft can have Bethesda, then Sony's like, well, we're gonna have Blue Point then.
Yeah. Oh, and again, it's some of these things you can kind of call from like miles off, and it's like, these people, they're making a PlayStation exclusive game. I expect in the next year they'll probably be owned by Sony, and they'll be cranking out games for them exclusively.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Sony doesn't have nearly as bad a track record as Microsoft does for buying up, you know,
and then shuttering them.
Yeah, fan favorite studios like Pandemic and like a million others, and then like killing them dead.
Yeah, no, they're actually, from what I've seen and sort of heard, and like just by like the quality of games they've been putting out, they're pretty good with them. Like we had Demon's Souls with the Ratchet and Clank stuff from Insomniac and Spider-Man.
I mean, Insomniac has basically been holding up the entire fucking PS5 era on their back.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, obviously, we got the God of War people. That's just straight up Sony Santa Monica.
Yeah, Santa Monica. Yep.
Which is now Sony Santa Monica. It didn't used to be that, but now it is.
Yep. You got the guys behind Ghost of Tsushima with Sucker Punch.
Right, of course, yes. The old Sly Cooper guys.
Yeah.
You've been playing the director's cut on that, too, that had even more content in it.
Yeah, and it had Sly Cooper references. And I think there's like Sly Cooper styled armors and stuff, and God of War styled armors, and Bloodborne styled armors.
Oh, that's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
When are we going to be purchased by Sony, Matt? That's the real end game for this. When are they going to buy us?
The official Sony podcast.
Yeah, then it'll be fine. Then, you know, I can finally rest when Sony purchases us. Oh yeah, Naughty Dog. There's another one that I guess they own now because they're only making exclusives for them.
Yep.
Which, I mean, those are all really good studios. Yeah,
they make an exclusive for them, and then after a while they come to YouTube, not YouTube, fucking PC.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah, they have been doing that recently, have they? They've been bolstering that as well.
Yeah,
always cool.
They just released what is it? Bloody Horizon Zero Dawn. That's another one. Guerrilla Studios is another one they own.
I still need to play Horizon. I got it free when it was available on the PS4, but I haven't had time to sit down and really play it. I know people are so hyped for the sequel.
It's pretty good, although I when I originally played it, I didn't like the early hours in it just because it felt kind of repetitive, but then the game opens up a little bit more.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So yeah, there's a little taste of gaming news for you, everyone. That was the Matt-centric part of the show that I'm glad we could do because he listens to me all the time for shit. Where it's like, okay, now let me talk about this.
Yeah, and I know people really wanted that gaming stuff because they've been hounding us for like talking about games or gaming stuff.
I mean, the comic multiverse does become a game podcast like every E3 or every time there's a big thing we do talk about it.
Yeah, that's true.
How about that new Final Fantasy? We're going to kill chaos finally.
I'm sure you've seen the clip circulating. Yes. I've got to download. I want to download the new demo, and I want to try and stream it as well. But God, that because I missed the trailer for that Same. Clip was the first thing I saw of
brilliant
the new stuff, and I thought it was like an edit. I thought it was like someone's edited this.
I mean, people did end up editing. For those who don't know what we're talking about, for the new Final Fantasy, there's a great bit where a guy walks away, answers his phone, and ridiculous music starts playing. So people, of course, upped the ante by putting more and more ridiculous.
No. What happened is the main character, the guy who wants to kill chaos, is
Jack.
Yeah, Jack Garland or something. It was his name or something.
Jack, he's a psychomaniac.
He's talking to some woman and he says like bullshit to like what she says about something about an RPG, and he literally turns around and like pulls out his phone and presses play, and like Limp Bizkit starts playing, and he just like walks off like a badass, and I'm like, that has to be like that they have to be making. There's no way that's serious. There's no way.
We talked about Venom the movie being the greatest superhero movie of 2003. Well, this is aiming to be the greatest game of 2003.
It makes sense as well because it kind of looks like a game from 2003. It doesn't look very like graphically like modern game. It looks like a PS3 game. Though I think they did say that it's meant to be sort of like a smaller caliber game, but even still, like it looks pretty bad.
I mean, mechanically, it looks cool. I love the idea of the old Final Fantasies being able to change your jobs on the fly and everything. Yeah. Big fan of the job system.
Yeah.
Jace also helping us out here and bringing back an oldie. What happened to Assassin Talk?
Well, we haven't had a new game. I mean, I've been meaning because I've been stockpiling the Valhalla DLCs. That I think they just released the last one, which is the Siege of Paris. Did. So I'm once I've like cleared out some of my stuff games wise, I'm gonna go back into that.
I still never beat the main game, mainly because there's just
I
so
haven't
much
finished
shit
it
they
either.
throw at you.
I think the last thing I was doing is I was doing the quest lines where you're in like Asgard as like Odin.
Yes, which I also still have those. That's the problem with a lot of Assassin games and Ubisoft games in general. They just bury you under so much shit, you just give up at a point.
Yeah.
They could really settle to make them a little smaller and a little bit more laser focused, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm really surprised they haven't done like a HD remaster of Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Oh yeah. They put it on the Switch, they put it on the PC, they put it lots of places.
Yeah, just do like give it like a PS5 patch or something.
I like Black Flag, and I like Rogue a lot, too, actually. I think Rogue might be my favorite Assassin's Creed, mainly because it was smaller and more laser-focused.
Again, I think those were the last two that were, like, quite laser-focused and small, like mid-tier, I guess, is what you call them. Yeah. And then, because after that, they'd be like, no, we're going to go RPG with the whole thing, and it's, barely going to contain anything about the whole Assassin's Creed stuff.
Yeah, it's about all this other shit now.
Yeah.
All right, I guess with that we can hop over into what we read this week, and it was a pretty big week this week.
It was.
A lot of new number ones, a lot of conclusions here. Where should we start, Matt?
Well, let's start with Inferno.
Yes, Inferno, the next big chapter in Hickman's X-Men. I guess it's not really a trilogy, a duology, whatever it is. But it's big, and it's probably going to be his last X-Men story for a while.
I'm fairly certain it is his last X-Men story.
Yeah, this certainly sets up where it's like, hey, so everything I built here, what if I maybe knocked it all down?
Yeah, I compared this issue to Fear State because both Fear State and this do something, which is they reiterate what the story's about. But here it makes more sense and is more interesting because it's been a while since we touched on these things, like since the start of House and Power of X, basically, 2 years ago. So,
and also, there's been so much story across all of these X-Men books. You need something like this to be like, okay, in case you forgot.
And it's interesting and complex.
Also that.
And there's like some substance to it. What's the substance in Fear State?
Very little.
Scarecrow wants to make people scared.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's about it.
Where in here there's so much going on.
Yeah.
They start off with a little reference to the very first page of the first,
I love that.
Hickman
I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, to me, my X-Men only it's Xavier and Magneto coming out of the eggs, and it's like, well, how the fuck did this happen?
Yeah, and Emma Frost is in charge.
Yeah, which is really interesting too, because if you've been reading the other books, she's probably been doing more hard work than anyone to try and hold this up.
Yeah, she's like full into the Krakoan dream.
Yeah, and she's been she deserves it too, because she's been taking on the bad guys. She took on Shaw in her own book. She took on Beast. She took on Sinister and Hellions. She's arguably better at running this than the two guys are.
Yeah, she's like the perfect example of like the Krakoan experiment working.
Yes, because she used to be a villain and used to be selfish, but now she actually cares about everyone and like, shit, I think Emma should be in charge.
Yeah, and there's no like I mean, there is ulterior motives, but it's not sinister,
malicious.
Yeah, it's like for the betterment of these of people and everything.
Yeah, she actually shows that she kind of deserves this to happen.
Yeah.
We also go back to the Moira storyline, which it's been so long since we've seen Moira, and it's her basically coming out of hiding and being like, all right, Chuck, all right, Eric, you guys, I've read the other books, and I see how you've been fucking up my dream across the board. I gave you 2 jobs. Don't let Destiny come back to life, and don't let Nimrod come online, and you fucked both up.
You fucked both of them up, and not only that, they're both now connected.
Yeah, which is worse than I could ever have hoped. And they're and I love they're just like making excuses and trying to play it off. And Magneto's like, okay, so the machines are gonna kill us, and you've seen that in all your multiple lives. What if we fuse with the machines? Is that an option? No, Eric, that's not an option.
That's like the worst case scenario. I do like that Eric, like when she was telling him all this, Eric is trying to like pass it off. It was like, well, us as mutants, together we did all this. And it's like, no, it was just you two people. It was just you two. No one else knows about this. It was just you two.
My favorite part about that scene too is he's pitching this Magneto while he's trying to open a bottle of wine with a wine opener. I'm like, oh, a little bit of machine that can do a job that you can't do, Mr. Master of Magnetism can't pull a fucking cork out of a bottle of wine without it. What if we just join with them? Then maybe they'll help me open my wine. This wine opener is a little machine, right? I'm like, well, in a way, yes, but... So there's a lot going on there, and Xavier's like, look, we're not going to have the support we need from the rest of the X-Men, so the only way we're going to try and make what you want us to do happen is we're going to have to shore up the council, and we're basically going to have to put everyone to loyalty tests.
Yeah, we know that there's certain people in the council that are going to fail this test, so we're going to have to like put them out to pasture, and I like that Moira was setting up. It's like, no, you got to go, like, you got to basically wipe Destiny from the systems, like, delete her from the hard drive and take her, samples that Sinister have and burn them. And then you've probably got to do the same with Mystique as well, because she'll open her mouth.
Stop.
Yep.
You've created a monster, you two, and now she's never going to stop.
Yep.
We also find some stuff with the Orchis guys where apparently they have been sending hit squads after Nimrod since he came online over and over, and he ends up killing them all every time.
Yeah, and it's from that Orchis learned a little bit, again, I think it's kind of going to be connecting up with the whole Ben Urich story that's happening in Jerry Duggan's run, where they're sort of piecing together that the mutants resurrect, but there's certain aspects where it's like they keep sending the exact same mutants, which means they're not learning, which means they get to a certain point here and they stop remembering.
Yes, because their memories are going somewhere else. We don't know where. Obviously, we as readers know it's going to Cerebro.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it's like, oh, so they're collecting all of that in Cerebro, huh? All these failed fights against Nimrod. Where do you think that's going to go?
Yeah, where are they storing there? What's Xavier doing with them?
Yeah, and don't you think he would have mentioned that to Moira to be like, no, I have a plan, I'm working on it.
Yeah, again, more of this sort of Two-Face stuff.
Very much so. I I love too where it's like, Xavier and Eric, oh, we're working together now. Oh, we're the two kings of Krakoa. Yeah, but you're also still fighting each other. The second the going got tough, you guys turned on each other super hard in the thing with Moira, because at the end of the day, you still see each other as enemies.
Yeah, you still don't trust everyone.
Yeah, which is very, very fun and very interesting. Cyclops gets a cool moment because he'd been saying for a while now that he wants to go back to doing traditional superhero stuff, so he's stepping down as a war captain.
Yeah, and the council don't particularly like that. Exodus sees that as like a weakness, and it's like, oh, we can't have people that are coming in half-assed or anything.
And Cyclops being like, no, this is the way to be. I still love my country and my countrymen, but I can do more good elsewhere.
Yeah, out in the world, not on the island.
Yeah, that also means that Bishop gets a nice promotion, and Psylocke gets to take Gorgon's place on the War Captains.
Yeah.
Jace Jensen helping us out once again. You could say Destiny of the Mutants is slowly coming to pass. I'll see myself that. I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yep.
That's exactly what it is. So yeah, Xavier tries to clean house on the council. People like Kirk are like, what the fuck? I thought we were all on the same team. I thought this was going good. What is up with this now? And then Mystique, who's been waiting all this time to do it, takes center stage and goes, fuck you, I brought Destiny back anyway.
Yeah, she was waiting for this to happen. You can just tell you she knew this was going to happen, and she's just been waiting. She's like, oh, now today's the day. Yes.
Which, of course, begs the question, well, how the hell did she do that under Magneto and Xavier's nose?
Well, I have a feeling this could... Maybe this is something to do with Moira. Maybe she has changed and she's working with Mystique. And that plan we saw... You know how we saw those pages of the plan where, like, Magneto goes to his home and collects the cradle? And maybe she told the exact same stuff to Mystique. Maybe that was Mystique.
Maybe that was Mystique as Sinister when Xavier came to collect the DNA.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Mystique could be anyone and anywhere, so there's lots of places they could go. That a fan actually had a fairly interesting theory, because we see Destiny's first meeting with Moira again, but retold, in more detail about, when Destiny came to stop Moira, because she, in one of her lives, was working with scientists to create the cure. And basically, Destiny more or less challenges Moira to, do good by her people and mutant kind. So in a way, Destiny actually incepted the idea for Krakoa in her mind.
Yep. So she's technically the creator of Krakoa in a way.
Technically the mother of Krakoa. But also, too, someone said, hey, wouldn't it be interesting if, the reason Moira's doing all this shit is because she planned for it to fall apart, because deep down she actually still does want to cure the mutant gene and everything, and this is just like a real roundabout plan to do it.
Yeah, it's like something in her mind that, like, no matter all the lives she has, that's something that's still is like a constant.
Yeah, like maybe if I this time I'll get the mutants to destroy themselves before Nimrod or anything can do it.
Yeah,
and in doing so, maybe that will save the rest of humanity. Maybe. But yeah, so very cool. Again, filled with a lot of great dun-dun-dun moments.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And again, also, it's a book you have to have been reading X-Men this entire time to understand what the hell's going on.
Very, very much so.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. It's only 4 issues long.
Oh, really? It's a bit of a short one.
Yeah.
I'm interested in it. I'm also interested into what the hell they're going to be doing after this, because it's like, wait, are they really going to do away with the Krakoan concept at the end of Inferno? I sincerely doubt it.
I don't think they will, just because of like all the big stuff Hickman's been doing lately, like with Planet Araco and all that sort of stuff. Like, you don't do that just right near the end and then just like wipe it all away.
And you can't do it away in one story.
Again, like, I think I might have said this last week or the week before. That's like, I think it's going to end up with like a schism where you're going to have like Krakoan mutants and then like mutants who are like more accepting of like humanity and actually live in like New York and stuff like that.
The pro-nationists and the anti-nationists. Yeah, that would be very interesting for like year 3 of this, where it's like, the mutant dream kind of got broken up because of that.
Because it's kind of going that way, because you see mutants like Scott, like Cyclops and all that, kind of going against like the council and everything, and not buying fully into this whole dream, where he's like, I still like it, but like I'm aware of like all the shady shit you guys are probably getting up to. And
I don't even know the half of it.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a place they could take it. Again, you mentioned Fear State earlier on. We had a new Fear State book this week, Detective Comics.
Yeah, I haven't read this one yet.
It's boring as fuck.
Yeah, I figured.
It's boring as fuck, but like in a very interesting way, because like they don't even really bother writing about Fear State in this. They're already setting up Task Force Z in the main bit.
That's what it, like I've noticed about that on the last couple of issues. It's just been more focused on Task Force Z than anything else.
They're so bored, they literally stop several times to set up Task Force Z in this Fear State story. It's disappointing too, because this one is actually more about Mayor Nakano than anything.
Yep.
Because Nakano finally got buyer's remorse, where it's like, hey, maybe I shouldn't have signed over control of my city to, you know, a faceless, nameless, corporately backed police militia.
He's only realizing this now. He's not realizing this like the moment this started to happen.
Mm-hmm. He finally figured it out, and Simon Saint's like, no takesies, backsies.
I had my fingers crossed.
And he's like, shit, legally binding, can't do anything about it. Can't do nothing about it, it's legally binding. So Batman has to go and save him, but maybe it's not Saint that's after him. Maybe it's these Task Force Z guys who are after him, because in the backup, they imply that Nakano also gave those guys the okay too to do zombie shit.
God damn it, he's really like living up to like terrible Gotham mayors.
I know, right? Where it's like, hey, remember when this character was actually kind of like interesting and like actually showed a different side of like crime and punishment in Gotham and everything, but now he's just become every bit as dumb as Mayor Hamilton Hill and all those other mayors.
Yeah, they look like they were taking him in like the completely opposite direction, where it's like, he'll actually be like kind of competent and like good at his job and everything. It's like, nah, he's kind of an idiot still.
Because he started so strong, where it's like, you know, I'm anti-mask and anti-Batman, but that's because, you know, I'm a cop who got hurt. In the line of duty, and my partner got killed, and I got, you know, swept in, you know, with this wave of sympathy and everything, and, you know, I'm not corrupt. I take a strong stand against corruption, and I can actually fight for myself. I don't need Batman to save me. Feels like a lot of that got lost along the way to facilitate these stories. He kind of needed to become an unlikable dumbass.
Yeah. I would have liked if there was a little bit more to like his fall, but there wasn't. It was just like a turn.
Just happened all at once.
Yeah.
I hope he sticks around, though, because I still think they can save him, though. I think he needs.
I think they could.
I'd like to get Joshua Williamson needs to get his hands on him, because apparently the man just works miracles when it comes to rehabbing characters.
I mean, you could just hand wave most of it away. It's like, he was under the effects of fear, like mind control toxin, or something, you know.
That's fair enough. As someone else, said in my comment section, made an excellent point saying, hey, he's a beat cop. Of course he's a shitty politician. He has no idea what he's doing. And also 90% of his advisors are either corrupt themselves or literal monsters.
Yeah,
and I'm like, all right,
parasite men, yeah.
And I'm like, all right, fair enough. I'll give him that. You're right. He did swim into the deep end, and yes, the people talking to him were literal monsters.
I'm sure you probably could set it up where it's like someone like played him to like put all those people around him because they knew they were all evil or something, and like try and corrupt him.
Well, remember at the end of the Tomasi run, they were implying that Mirror, that weird anti-vigilante villain, might have been his partner.
Yeah. And nothing happened with that, yeah.
And then just nothing happened with that story. Oops. So Fear State continues to be deeply underwhelming.
Yeah, it's got. How long is it? I remember seeing that like checklist, but like I can't remember how long it is. It goes to like December or something, doesn't it?
It goes for a while still.
I just want Joshua Williamson to take over.
Well, I'm sure it'll be here before we know it. What else did you have, Matt?
Well, I had new #1 over at Marvel with the Darkhold Alpha, issue 1.
Ooh, tell me all about it. But first, again, thanks to episode MVP Jace Jensen saying that Jason gave up his guns and now he's using guns to deal with zombies. DC, just say you have no idea what you want for Jason. That's pretty much it.
They don't know what to do with him.
I didn't even know he gave up his guns, actually. I should read that story. Was that an Urban Legends thing? If so, I might have to go back and read Urban Legends.
Yeah, well, I think he gave them up, and then I've got to catch up on it, but I know in Future State Gotham, I don't believe he uses guns there.
Oh, okay. Because, if I ever wrote Red Hood, that would be my pitch for it. It's like, he decides to be more like the rest of the Bat family and stop using guns.
Yeah, stop being such an edgy boy.
edgy boy, and you could sell it to the edgy boy crowd anyway. It's like, no, I'm so fucking badass, I don't even need guns.
Yeah, I just use my fists.
I got my guns right here, bro, all the time.
He just keeps saying that. That's how he like beats the enemies. He like intimidates them
into submission. Yeah, and again, all the kids with the backwards baseball caps, like, this is the fucking best Red Hood ever. 2 tickets to the gun show.
That's how you sell like no guns to people, and guns are bad to people. You make it like cool.
You make it super cool. Like, I don't need my fucking gun. Why? I got my dick right here. I'm gonna hit you with my fucking Red Hood dick. That's what he does.
Is this a Brian Azzarello book?
Now it is. Brian, you keep pitching that where he can cuss people with his penis. We can't draw. Yeah, we can. I have sketches. They're charcoal drawings. Shockingly accurate charcoal drawing. Jeez, Brian, I didn't know you had this in you. Holy shit. I feel like we have to use them now. But yes, Darkhold, yeah, this is part of the big new initiative Marvel's having to try and up their magical universe.
The big new initiative that Steve Orlando is headlining that was meant to start last year.
That's right, it was. It got all stopped up. That's right.
Because I think it was meant to be this, then Dark Ages.
Huh.
And they got, I don't know why. I have no idea why. But yeah, this issue finds Doctor Doom unearthing the original true Darkhold.
First edition.
Yeah, the first edition, the original. Yeah, signed by
holographic.
Signed by Cawthon. Yeah.
Oh shit! Cawthon's autograph. You know how much that'll go for on eBay?
But upon him unearthing it, Scarlet Witch ends up getting like a vision or like a nightmare of Cawthon and his forces invading Earth and fucking killing everyone. So she ends up going to like find Doom and find that he's found the book and everything. And Doom, being classic, arrogant Doom, wants to use the book to go to the other realm and kill Cawthon before he can come to Earth.
Save his mom. And
he only wants to do it himself because Doom. It's Doom, of course.
He wants all the glory.
Yeah, but Scarlet Witch manages to convince him to like work with her to sort of try and find if in the book there is something that will kill him, and they end up discovering something called the Darkhold Defenders, which were 5 magical beings who sealed Cawthon away into the other realm, and they think maybe if they can get more 5 modern versions of these people, they'll be able to do that. And they do that by gathering Iron Man, Spider-Man, Blade, the Wasp, and Black Bolt.
Oh, well, that's a pretty fucking killer team.
Yeah, I'm just so happy that Black Bolt's back.
Yeah, someone remembered he exists.
And yeah, they're all summoned and they're told what's going on. Black Bolt doesn't want to do it because, as he says, his people are in a state of healing at the moment, and he's just got them, back together, and he doesn't want to jeopardize that by running off to like another dimension and possibly dying.
Black Bolt, I'm on thin ice right now.
Yeah, I need to, be good, otherwise, I'll go back into timeout.
Black Bolt, the old Gil of the Marvel Universe. Jeez, Blackguard Bolt to God. I really need this.
Blade manages to convince him to like stay by saying, it's actually a nice little bit from Blade where he's like, look, the world has like fucked over so many people, not just the Inhumans. Like, we're all in this together, and it's like this is sort of like an all or nothing thing. Like, if this is gonna go ahead, it's gonna affect your people anyway. They're not just gonna stop with Earth. They're gonna go out into the galaxy and fuck everyone over.
Jeez, Blaze, you make a great point. Jeez, you're a great motivational speaker.
Yeah. He wouldn't talk though. He'd like sign all that.
He would. But he signs it with the Gil accent to make sure Like, Black Bolt has seen Simpsons, so he wants you to know that he's making a reference.
So yeah, the team all end up agreeing to do all this, and it's great because they all have like some sort of loose tie to Cawthon in a way. Like Iron Man's like, well, I've battled my own demons, I know what that's like, so we need to stop this guy. Spider-Man references Carnage working for Cawthon at one point, so he's like, well, if I get to take down the boss this goon worked for, then that's good.
Oh yeah, in that Superior Carnage book by what was it, freaking the classic one.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking
Conway.
about. Yeah, Jerry Conway.
Yeah, by Conway, which was great. Holy shit. Man, Carnage has been working for a lot of cults recently. He worked for Chthon, he worked for Null. He's just a guy who goes from cult to cult.
And yeah, they all agree to do this, and to get like the power they need to help imbue themselves with this magical power and send them to the other world, they have to read from the Darkhold, but they can only read a certain amount, because if you read too much, you go insane. So they have to only get like a little sniff of it. Before they do that, Doom ends up coming back from the other world, but he won't talk about what he saw there. But we see what he saw. He see him get teleported there, and he's immediately fucking like beaten by like this army of like monster things. They immediately overwhelm him, and it's like, oh, Doom did not foresee this happening. And but he won't tell anyone. He would be like, no, I'm not gonna. That's for my eyes only. I may have beaten him. I may not have. You never know.
Doom bit off more than he could chew.
And it's great because he's like, his armor is like all fucked up and like melted onto him and everything. It's like, Doom needs to go home and rest. So I'm gonna leave Victorious here in my stead. So the team all get together, read the Darkhold, but they all end up reading it a bit too much, and instead of becoming the Darkhold defenders, they become the Darkhold defiled, which are servants for Chthon. And they all get brand new redesigns. They're all like red and black like costumes, and like they all look like monsters now. Blade looks like who's the green Street Fighter guy?
Oh, Blanca.
Blade looks like Blanca. He's got like long, like 90s fangs. Black Bolt is in like a straight jacket, and Iron Man's got like weird like skin armor. Like he looks like a cyborg basically.
Like Hellraiser.
Yeah. So yeah, they're all bad guys, and the event is really short because the event is, I think, 5 issues long, and each issue deals with one of the team members. So there's like a Spider-Man and a Blade and a Black Bolt issue.
Right on. I could dig it.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Sounds like if you like your Marvel magic scene, then you got a lot of choices recently.
Yeah, the only problem is it was meant to come out a year ago, so everyone's like, why is Wanda Maximoff alive? Why hasn't Doom got like all that power that he got at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy? It's like, well, it was meant to come out a year ago.
The answer is shut up, that's why.
Yeah, it's comics. I don't gotta explain shit.
Yeah, basically. Well, that sounds fun. I had the big finale of Nick Spencer's Spider-Man this week.
Oh, I like flick through this issue and I'm like, it's 83 pages long. I am not reading this.
There's 2 backup stories. The main story is about as long as it has you. You got a Christos Gage backup story about Uncle Ben, and then you got a Zeb Wells backup story about Ben Reilly that sets up Spider-Man Beyond.
I did see the Ben. I didn't know there was backups, and I saw like the Uncle Ben stuff. I'm like, oh no, what is he doing?
No. Thankfully, they're all different stories. Maybe I like the Ben. I like the Ben Reilly story. Actually, he's working for the Beyond Company. He's got money now, so what's the first thing he does? Gets his old girlfriend Jeannie out of jail.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's nice. Hey, good for you, man.
Is that written by the writer who's taking over the book?
That is written by Zeb Wells. Yes, one of the writers, because Spider-Man Beyond's going to have many writers.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty solid. It's just like, hey, Jeannie, remember how you like killed your abusive father in self-defense and went on the run and you looked a lot like Mary Jane and everything? Well, I remember, so I'm getting you out of jail now. I love the second he gets money, he becomes the guy from Love After Lockup. Like, hey, girl, you don't gotta worry no more, girl. I'm getting you out of jail, girl. Actually, I don't think he got her out of jail completely. I think he just like commuted her sentence to like a minimum security, like halfway house.
Oh, okay, yeah, so she's on parole or something.
She's on parole because she did murder a guy.
Yeah, okay.
But it was her shitty abusive father, so like, whatever. Also, I if I'm remembering 90s comics right, it was Kane who told her to go to jail, like, you need to turn yourself in. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna listen to Kane. But hey, Ben Reilly's got his own shit going on. Hey, he got his girlfriend out. Good for him.
Yeah, good on him.
The main story is ridiculous and unfocused and chaotic and scattershot, and yet I didn't hate it because they get one thing really right, actually.
Okay.
And it actually involves Harry Osborn. They get him right.
Okay, well, what do they do with him?
So the clone finally realizes that he's a clone, that he's not the real Harry. In fact, the real Harry may never actually have been in this story at all.
Oh, of course.
So it's like, yeah, we joined the real Harry like not long after what is it? He died originally when he took the Goblin Strength formula, and Mephisto's like, ha ha ha! I've got your soul now. Your father sold it to me, and I'm gonna torture you for all eternity. And Harry's like, that's fucking bullshit, because I saved MJ and Normie before I died way back when. You know, isn't that enough that I redeem myself? And Mephisto's like, no, because you're gonna replace Peter's parents with LMDs. And that's going to be a thing. And also, you masterminded this whole twin bullshit now with Sarah and Gabriel Stacy, and Peter doesn't know that, and that counts. And, you know, you're always going to be a pawn, Harry Osborn. You're always going to be a pawn of evil forces, and you're always going to suck. So, like, when the clone finds out about all of this, he's like, oh, I'm not actually mad at all that I'm a clone. I'm actually happy that I got to live a normal, happy existence with a wife and son and friends that real Harry never got.
Okay.
So what reason do I have to be mad? Quite the opposite. Now that I know that I need to go meet my maker, essentially, I'm going to do so not as a pawn. And he gets a bunch of his old goblin shit out of his closet, which they actually referenced several arcs ago that he had like a secret stash.
Okay.
And he says, maybe the reason I kept this stuff is because I knew one day I'd have to defend my family. And yes, that includes Peter. And believe it or not, it also includes my deadbeat dad. So, like, Harry gets on the Goblin Glider, and he goes, and he helps Peter fight Gabriel and Stacy Kindred. So it went from, like, an unfair 2-on-1 fight to a 2-on-2 fight, and eventually Harry ends up, like, taking the killing blow from one of the Kindreds, because Norman drops the truth bomb on the twins, where it's like, actually, Gwen Stacy's not your mother, I'm not your father, you were part of some stupid plot by my son, who was also being manipulated by the devil. So really, you're the devil's kids. If we really want to get like really like intricate with it, yeah. And they're like, fuck, we hate that. We're gonna kill you. So Harry takes the blow, and, you know, like, when Peter sees that, he's so touched, and now he knows the truth, that he has no reason to be guilty, and he has no sin that Kindred can hold over him anymore, even though the sin they were really talking about was one more day, but they clearly had to change that at the last minute, so now none of the whole middle part of this story makes sense anymore.
Yeah, change that because of fan backlash, yep.
I mean, not even just fan backlash, just, like, I don't even think that Marvel was going to let him do it, because if they did one more day, that means he'd get to undo the Mephisto deal and everything else, and clearly they stepped in. It's like, you can't do that.
That's true, yeah.
Also, Peter never proposes, even though he had the ring, and also Mysterio never comes back again, even though Mysterio said, and I still have a part to play. No, you don't.
Oh, I fully expected this to end with a Peter Mary Jane proposal.
I thought so, too. That does not happen, actually. But
wow.
But we do kind of get something like that. Again, this is another thing that Spencer does that I actually enjoy. So Peter gets crushed under a bunch of shit because this is a Spider-Man story and he has to get crushed under a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And Mephisto is watching this with Doctor Strange, and he's like, ha ha ha, he is crushed under the things. I have won the game of souls now. My champions
That's exactly
are victorious.
the writing of Nick Spencer there.
At this point, you could tell he's on his way to Substack. He doesn't give a fuck anymore. It's actually pretty close to that, honestly, because Mephisto literally starts talking to the reader and says, hey, this sure happens a lot in Spider-Man, doesn't it? Him getting crushed by heavy things. Like, literally. And Doctor Strange steps on it and is like, oh, but I have a last card up my sleeve. You cheated, Devil, and had 2 champions, and I have 2 champions as well. Mary Jane is actually my champion, and she pulls Peter out from the heavy stuff. And somehow that wins the Game of Souls.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no fucking clue how that works, but it's nice MJ got to do something. Instead of just sitting around and have people explaining stuff to her. And when that happens, Gabriel and Sarah Stacy are like, no, Mephisto's dark power isn't keeping our clone bodies alive. We're going away now. Yep, we're dead. Never mention us again.
They died on their way back to hell.
They literally died the way they lived, confusing and unwanted. So yeah, that happens. And Peter and MJ go back to America because they're technically in Europe. And the big final reveal here, and this is the thing that it doesn't quite make it work, but it makes it a much more interesting mess, is Doctor Strange and Mephisto are having drinks. Doctor Strange has won their thing, and he's like, hey, before I leave, like he's fucking Columbo or something. Yeah, one more thing, Mephisto. Why does you, the devil, give so much of a shit about the life of Peter Parker, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? And Mephisto finally gives an answer.
Okay.
And he says that, being the devil, being this all-powerful creature, I can see my own past, present, and future. And in the future, I see myself one day rising from hell, conquering Earth, defeating like the Avengers children from like that series.
Yeah.
And also like Bendis's future X-Men as well from that one story.
Yep.
It's like, I see myself defeating them and ruling over, Earth. But in my vision, one person stops me.
And
one person.
That's Spider-Man.
That's Spider-Man. And Doctor Strange walks away and he goes, "You're only telling me half the story, right, though, because you're the devil and you're a liar." And he's like, "Oh, I'll never tell." Then we see that situation again, only it's not Spider-Man who stops him. Spider-Woman who stops him. Mayday Parker, Mary Jane, and Peter's daughter.
I thought that when you said it was going to be Spider-Man, I was going to be his like child or someone.
It's his daughter. Also, she's wearing Ben Reilly's clone costume. Don't ask any questions about that, but she's actually wearing his costume.
Okay.
But yes, so that's why he keeps fucking with Peter's life and with his marriage specifically, because their child will one day rise up and stop him.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, that doesn't make One More Day in the Devil deal not dumb, but it does make it make a little bit more sense.
More sense, yeah.
Jace Jensen again being an MVP. I see it as Strange Champions 1 technically, and I can see it as no one would think MJ would actually join the fight in the end, so she would be safe. I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
I just don't know how her lifting him out wins the fight. But there you go. Or was that even at stake because they're like rolling fucking roulette wheels? So like, what does any of it mean? And Norman is fine at the end of the story too. That's weird. He's still sin free, and he like gets out of the story.
Okay.
Which is super unexpected.
Right.
Because yeah, you like didn't expect like, oh well, he's gonna be revealed to be a bad guy. His sins are coming back, but nah.
Okay.
So there you go. So there's the end of the Nick Spencer run. A bit of a mess. But I wasn't bored, and I actually didn't hate it because he actually did like one or two things I thought were kind of clever.
Yeah. Some of the stuff he did was pretty good, but yeah, it was a bit too long.
Bit too long, bit of a mixed bag. Again, got very much in the weeds, and much like Secret Empire, I'm like, oh, this isn't the ending you had in mind, huh? This is the compromise ending that you had to have.
Yeah.
I bet you had so much more in mind, because here's the thing too. Now that it's the twins, now none of the other stuff with Harry makes any sense.
No.
And none of the stuff with One More Day makes any sense either. And the fact that it was only revealed to be the twins in the final 2 issues, it's like, oh, you had to change something.
Yeah, something was changed.
Yeah, I had to change something here at the end. Also too, we don't even get to wait and like marinate on this story because the new run starts this week.
Oh, fuck, really?
Yes, starts today as this goes out. I know, we get time to rest.
God damn, they want to be done with that. They want to move on quickly.
Yes, they want you to forget Nick Spencer ever worked here. They want you to be done with it. They don't want you to say the word Substack.
Yeah, well, I'll be reading the new run because it looks really fantastic, and it's probably going to be less convoluted than Spencer's run.
Which is funny to say because it's going to involve clones and everything else, but it's going to be less convoluted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will be very interested to see how much of any connective tissue it has to this, because I wouldn't be shocked if there was an editorial mandate. It's like, do not reference anything from that last run.
Yeah.
But we got to put Kraven in there, and Kraven got brought back to life in the...
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. He's the same Kraven and always has been the same Kraven.
Yeah. What happened in Nick Spencer's run didn't actually happen. That was chameleon stuff. Yeah, don't worry about it. It
was all legit. Man, that's another thing too. I was talking to Sal about this, who's like a bigger Spider-Man. It's probably the biggest Spider-Man fan I know, with like a real encyclopedic knowledge. And he said, you know what's going to happen here? They're going to have to tell another story in a couple of years that condenses all the bullshit in this story to make sense. Because if they ever want to reference or talk about any of those other characters again, they're going to have to deal with it.
Yep.
Which, again, Spider-Man does that sometimes, where it's like, okay, here's one issue that kind of tries to make all this other stuff make sense.
Yep.
Also, they never explained if Ned Leeds or the Sin Eater or any of the other people brought back were clones.
Yeah, they
or
just
really
kind of
brought
left
back
that.
from the dead or what.
Yeah,
just kind of left it. As the Rose too, they left that one as well. Remember when the Rose came back and that was a big deal, and the Lifeline tablet, not anymore.
Yeah, whatever. It's over.
Yeah. Also, I guess Boomerang is dead now too. He also sacrificed himself.
Yeah, well, he's dead until he's not.
He's dead until he's not. Until he's in something.
Yeah.
So there you go. What else did you have this week, Matt, as we move quickly away from Spider-Man?
I had Superman 78, issue 2.
Okay, so there were so many Superman books this week, I'm confused.
Yeah, no, this is the continuum of the Donnerverse stories by Robert Venditti.
Who is very good at Superman.
Oh, is he ever? And here is no different. It's the continuation of the Brainiac story. Lex Luthor gets involved. He writes a Lex Luthor that makes you read it in Gene Hackman's voice, in the same cadence and everything. Oh, it's fantastic. His story is pretty cool. So after Superman the movie, he got sent to jail at the end of that film. But Superman talked to the parole board and got him on parole as long as he he's good and he's being watched by the authorities and everything.
Oh, how nice of Superman.
But yeah, Lex he's trying to find a job, so he goes to Cord Industries to try and he's like, I'm the greatest criminal mind of our time, and I can do all this sort of stuff. And they're like, oh, how would you like to work in the cafeteria? and nothing's going his way. He's getting rain starts, and he's got no umbrella and all this sort of stuff.
Everything bad that can't happen does happen.
He ends up going home, and Superman's there, and Superman wants to talk to him about the Brainiac drone he fought and destroyed last issue, and wants his thoughts on it and his input because he's a smart guy, and it's like, oh, maybe you can sort this out. He tempts Lex really well by saying that the thing called itself Brainiac, and he's like, oh, I'm a real Brainiac. I'm the greatest criminal mind of our time, and I'll deal with this, and you go off and punch something because that's all you're good at doing. And
so it's like a buddy cop movie between these two
now. Yeah, and he's got to try and figure out where the signal it sent out went. So he's got a secret lab in his shitty apartment that has has a number of really cool references. He's building a power suit. There's a container in the back that's a reference to Bizarro. Cool. So he might be getting Donnerverse, a proper Donnerverse Bizarro.
Hey.
And yeah, Superman ends up going to fight more Brainiac drones because Brainiac arrives on Earth, and I love Vendetti's take on Brainiac, where he's making the guy out to be a hero, because Brainiac's whole thing is he's found out that there's a Kryptonian on Earth, and he wants to save Earth because the Kryptonian is an invasive species, and they had their time. Their planet exploded thanks to their machinations on the world and everything. It was their own fault and everything.
I like that take a lot.
And he doesn't want that happening to Earth, and he wants to get rid of the invasive species because they're not the savior that the Earth thinks they are. Cool. Of course, Superman fights them and everything. He uses the goddamn cellophane S from Superman 2.
I saw that on Twitter. Everyone was losing their mind about the cellophane S.
Yeah, I thought that was excellent. I hope we get more of just the ridiculous powers those movies had. The vision he had in number 4, where he rebuilt the wall in China, the Great Wall of China.
Yes, of course.
And stuff like that. I hope we get more of that sort of stuff. And they end up fighting, and then Brainiac's like, well, if you won't, people of Metropolis start to stand up for Superman and be like, hey, you can't take our Superman, we'll beat you up, we're hot dog vendors and whatnot.
You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
That's
Brainiac.
basically what it is. So Brainiac's like, well, if you people won't be convinced, I'll just have to excise the cancer, and he plans on bottling Metropolis and getting it out of Earth, and killing everyone there. But Superman decides, well, if that's going to happen, I'll just surrender, and you can do whatever you want with me, but just leave the people alone.
That sounds legit really cool.
And that's where the book ends. And there's also this great sort of backstory. It doesn't really get much play here, but backstory of Lois trying to tell Clark on how to do be a better journalist and everything, because Clark wants to talk about happy things in the news and sort of bring people's spirits up, where she's like, we got to talk about the rapists and the murderers and
two totally different types of journalists. I like that.
Yeah.
I want to be Vice News, but I'm Prairie Home Companion. That's fun. Wow, man. Between that, Superman, Red Book, there's a lot of really good Superman books right now.
There really is. There really is. I'm so happy.
Yeah, I can tell. I can hear it in your voice where it's like, I am pleased. My skin is clear. My crops grow. Speaking of comedically mismatched superhero buddy cops from DC, I had Deathstroke Inc. #1 this week.
Ooh, what's going on with that?
So this is totally not the book I expected it to be. When you think like, oh, it's a Deathstroke book, it's going to be like, a real, gritty man on a mission type thing. It is not. It is a comedy buddy cop picture.
Okay.
So we're introduced to a brand new super agency called Trust. And of course, Trust is an acronym.
Of course.
For like Researchers United, something. And they have a bunch of agents infiltrating a small idealistic town that's it's too nice and too perfect, and they think Hive is using it to train sleeper agents.
Okay.
Our two spies that get sent in undercover are Deathstroke and his partner Black Canary.
Okay.
Which is really surprising because it's like, well, wait, why would these two work with each other? Don't they hate each other from all the years? Yes, actually. Yes, they do. In fact, Deathstroke says, what's going to happen when your boyfriend and the League find out what you're doing? And she's like, we have separate lives. And also, the League doesn't know I'm here. And that's because Oracle actually asked Dinah to go in undercover and see what Trust's deal is. And Trust paid Deathstroke a bunch of money. And also their man in the chair, their tech guy, is Hero, Toyman 2.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm happy they found him a place. And they got him on board by saying, like, well, we got a bunch of superhero surplus. Do you want to play with old Batmobiles and shit? And he's like, fuck yeah, I do.
That's great.
So he's basically working there pro bono. In fact, Deathstroke rolls up in like an old Batmobile that he doesn't use anymore and starts shooting at all the Hive guys with a Gatling gun.
Oh, that's great.
And he's like, I probably would have done this one for free. If you know my history, I fucking hate Hive. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess you do. They kind of were involved in the death of your son, weren't they? The actual Hive Queen, we see the new Hive Queen, and she is fucking horrifying. She looks like Betty Crocker, but she's like all gross, gooing with like honey and like a bunch of insect shit coming out of her.
Mm-hmm.
And her like husband is wearing like a smoking jacket, but his head is a hive.
Oh no.
That's got bees crawling out of it, and they've got gross bee children. And she's like, yes, my plan is to make everyone eat my psychotropic honey, which will turn their insides into weaponized bees. And Deathstroke's like, I fucking hate all of this. I'm gonna kill all of you. This is gross and I hate it. And eventually Black Canary has to be like, why the hell are you doing this? This is so unlike you. And he says, well, I wanted to try and do some good. I wanted to try and change the world, Black Canary, because I'm dying. What, really? Nah, I'm not dying. I was just fucking with you.
Oh, nice.
Because literally I'm pretty sure that was the last story that they told in the Priest run, where he was dying and wanted to try and do some good.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, I just, I've been a villain for too long. I want to try and do some good, and this is what I'm going to do now.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, that's an interesting take for Deathstroke, where he's like, yeah, I'm just too old. I've just been a villain for too long. I want to try and do some good in the world. And also, I'm pretty sure Trust is evil, so I want to, like, stop them before they come the next Hive.
Yeah.
And Trust is like, they're almost like an entertainment company where it's like, yeah, we got Deathstroke and we got Black Canary. This is going to be great for our brand. We need to recruit more metahumans to make Trust the #1 friggin', super agency out there. Yes, Ludwig, she was literally Dr. Bees. She absolutely was 100% Dr. Bees. So yeah, the Deathstroke book is a comedy. Go figure.
Awesome. That's good to hear. I might have to pick that up.
It is very fun. And again, I feel like this is Joshua Williamson blowing off steam, where it's like, all right, so I saved continuity and rehab characters everywhere else in the universe. Let me just have some fun here with Deathstroke shooting bees. So yeah, that's a good one.
That's awesome.
I appreciate that too, because you're probably not going to be able to do another like dark adult, Christopher Priest-esque take on it, where he's like a villainous protagonist and just like the worst, but you want to read every week to see what terrible thing he does next.
Yeah.
So I like that this is the literal opposite.
That's good.
Yeah. What else did you have, Matt?
I'm finished, basically.
So you didn't read Son of Kal-El this week?
I did, yeah. We can talk about that.
All right, let's talk about Son of Kal-El. So this This is kind of a big issue because it's building up several things from the other Superman books. This is basically Clark having to say goodbye. I think he does it here and in the action book,
yeah,
which I haven't read yet.
It's like a twofer because like people, I could tell people were only reading action comics because there was like people was like, why didn't he say goodbye to his parents and all these other people? Was like, that's happening over in Son of Kal-El. He did.
Yeah, he did. He's doing it up all over the place. So yeah, it's that story. It's John trying to make the most of his time before his dad eventually goes away. Mm-hmm. Taylor is eventually forced to bring up the fact that John looked at future spoilers.
Yeah.
He's like, oops, yeah, so I looked at the future spoilers, so if my dad goes, I'm afraid he'll never come back again. But of course, Superman has a very nice Superman-esque speech about, like, we challenge fate and destiny every day as superheroes, so, just believe in me that I'll be coming back.
Yeah, he makes a great point of, like, the future is not set in stone, that the future is whatever you make it. And you've already, like, changed the future by saving those people in the building.
Yes, which was called, like, the Infantino Estates, a reference to Carmine Infantino, the artist, which I quite enjoyed.
Yeah.
I like that one. Also, I like Mon Pa Kent got to be in the book and actually say shit.
Yeah, it was good.
Feels like no one's used them since, like, Doomsday Clock. It's nice to see them actually be here.
They were in the Bendis run.
I guess
they took in Superboy took in Connor Kent.
Right. Yeah, I guess he would need a place, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Connor, who is absent from this goodbye, though. I guess he's busy elsewhere.
Yeah, he's busy dealing with, like, the Bizarro version of himself.
I guess that's the idea. I know someone said that, too, where it's like, someone in my video was like, Connor should have been there. Why does he have to be on the Suicide Squad? I'm like, ha, that was Match, actually.
Yeah, he's not on there.
He's not actually, as we found out. It's a little bit more complicated. Jay got a surprising amount of characterization. John's new friend, we find out that he actually loves and reveres Lois.
Yep.
Because she's a crusading journalist, he's a crusading YouTuber, and basically he wants to be just like her.
Yeah, I like what they're doing with that character, and I like that there's hints that maybe him and John might get in a relationship, maybe.
That's funny you should say that, because I know a lot of people were pulling out their hair and being Chicken Little's The Sky is Falling.
Yeah,
why? Because there might be gay!
Yeah.
One guy was quite furious and confused just at the... I'm like, why? Why? It's like, well, because he has the same job as his mom. And I'm like, do you think John wants to fuck his mom? What is wrong with you?
Yeah, that says more about you than it does about these characters.
He has purple hair and is a YouTuber and has strong beliefs.
The one I didn't get a lot of that, but I got a lot of people like upset that Clark was leaving Earth, and I'm like, yes, he's leaving Earth to save a bunch of refugees that might be related to his people. That's like a pretty good reason. He's not just leaving Earth just because people were mean to him.
Yeah, also, we've literally been building up to this story for almost a year now in all the other Superman books.
Yeah. Oh, it's very concerning seeing the amount of people who haven't been reading Superman and the Authority.
But who have some very strong opinions, apparently.
Yeah, who are these characters? Why are the Authority there? They should make a book with that.
Yeah, they should. Maybe make it like 4 or 5 issues.
Yeah, maybe get Grant Morrison to write it.
Oh, that's a good idea. They should make that happen. Speaking of the Authority, there's a lot of Authority and Wildstorm references in this, because we find out, what knocked down the building was a character called Faultline who doesn't remember, getting powers or getting in a costume, and they don't call her a metahuman. No. They call her a post-human, like they do in Stormwatch.
Yeah. And again, it's all related to that because obviously, like, Gamora is like a big part of this storyline, because it's all about Superman saving some refugees from that, and then you've got President Bendix, who's John's first big villain, which is a great choice. Great choice.
Very
of villain.
Much so. I know. I think I said this last time we talked about this, but he works on so many levels. One, he's an evil genius, a la Lex Luthor.
Yeah, he looks like Lex Luthor.
He looks a little Lex Luthor. Also, too, again, if you know your Stormwatch and your Wildstorm, he's kind of a utopian, too. Mm-hmm. He wants to save the world and make it better, too. Yep. But usually it's through cybernetic enhancements and stealing people's free will.
Yeah, eugenics and shit like that.
He basically represents all the bad side of the stuff that John is trying to fight for now, where it's like, I'm going to stick up against the cops, against the army, against everyone. It's like, hey, if you want to arrest these people, you got to arrest Superman.
Yeah.
Which I love that he was willing to go to jail for what he believed in for 45 minutes. Dad, I was doing a hard time. Yeah, for 45 minutes. I love that. That's so heartwarming, too, that Superman isn't even mad that his son went to jail. He's like, nah, your mom goes to jail all the time.
Yeah, I did something like this in the New 52.
That's true, he did. It's a side effect of, speaking truth to power and fighting the good fight. Sometimes, corrupt forces will try and put you in jail. Some of the coolest people in the world went to jail, like Nelson Mandela and shit. Sometimes it's just what you gotta do. It comes with the territory. Also, you could have broken out whenever you wanted. You were making a statement by staying there.
Yep.
Yeah, that I'm no better than anyone else. So yeah, it's good shit. I like it.
It's a good book.
It is. I feel like it's like even warming up. People are like, well, I don't like that they aged him up, but this is a pretty good Tom Taylor story.
That's the thing. We wouldn't have any of this sort of stuff if he hasn't had aged up. We'd have the same sort of shit that he'd be getting into that he usually did. But with him aged up, we could do all this sort of stuff.
And the book is dealing with the fact, too, that he had, like, time stolen from him and that, he's living a very unnormal life. That's all I want. Where it's like, look, if you're going to do it, even if it's unpopular, make it the backbone of the story.
Exactly, yeah.
Which I appreciate.
Yeah.
I had one more book this week, and ironically, it was also from Joshua Williamson, and that was Robin #6.
Oh, what's going on in Robin? This is the start of that death tournament or something, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, it's been going on, but this is like the final stage of the death tournament.
Okay.
So it's, everyone gets their fight in this, like, anime tournament arc.
Yep.
And because Damien is such an overachiever, he blows right past the Blue Shrike and Tengu, who are, like, really lame bird-themed villains.
Yep.
And so he's just sitting there, and him and Flatline are basically doing commentary the rest of the tournament. And they're like, oh, yeah, he really favors his left side on that. Oh, yeah, he didn't see getting electrocuted coming, did he? Oh, Black Swan, she totally strangled that wrestler to death with his own fanny pack. Holy shit.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And it's like, no, see, this is great. We can make all these dark joke about death because, we're playing by video game logic. So they're not really dead. They just lost one of their lives.
Yeah.
And, all the good guys eventually get together and start comparing notes. And they're like, hey, we probably got to get that book back from Mother Soul. And, hey, Connor, no hard feelings about you killing Damien a couple arcs back. We know you didn't want to do it. He's fine. He's like, yeah, I think the League of Shadows is kind of bullshit. Because, even though I don't really know where I come from and what my thing is, I'm still a hero deep inside, though, aren't I?
Yes.
And I want to try and be good and everything. And they're like, okay, so all we got to do is survive the tournament and get there. But Respawn, of all people, the guy who looks like Kid Deathstroke but isn't Kid Deathstroke, and we don't know what his deal is, he shows up and says, I'm going to win the tournament because I'm the bad guy in every sports movie. Also, thank you, Case Swissho, appreciated.
Thank you.
He's like, I'm the bad guy in every sports movie, and I'm going to win because, you're all soft, and when push comes to shove, you all won't kill each other because, you believe in the power of friendship, but I don't. So that's going to be my thing. And Mother Soul, tries to make the tournament harder where it's like, okay, so we're going into the final round, the final 8, the Elite 8, if this was March Madness. But before we do, Battle Royale right now, so you all have to lose at least one life, meaning that when you die next time, you'll either die for real or you'll be afraid of dying, so you'll walk off from the tournament.
Okay.
Meaning that there's less people to claim the final prize. And I'm like, that's kind of cool, and how to rig this tournament with multiple lives.
Yeah, that's great.
Because they don't want anyone going all the way to the end with all of their lives.
No, not at all.
A lot of people in the chat think that he might be Grant Wilson. I think that's a little obvious, and plus, Grant is like a character unto himself.
Yeah.
I think you have the right one, right? Grant. Who was his first kid?
Ooh, I can't remember.
Because he has his first kid who takes the the hive drugs, and then ends up going nuts and everything. And okay, it was Grant Wilson. Okay, because he was Ravager 1.
Yeah.
He was Ravager 1. Rose takes this thing. Okay, you know what? Maybe it is Grant Wilson now, and I know exactly how they could make it Grant Wilson because Joshua Williamson wrote in Infinite Frontier that dead characters are back now.
Yep.
And Grant has been dead for a very long time, so wouldn't that be interesting? He's like, I'm back, but I can't be Ravager because you took my name, Rose.
Yeah. Ooh, interesting.
So I, modeled this suit after our father. And, hey, that would be great, too, because Williamson's writing both that and the Deathstroke book. If Grant showed up there as Respawn, it's like, hey, I'm not alive, or, I'm not dead anymore, which means you basically don't have the inciting incident that makes you do a bunch of the shit you do that eventually turns you into Deathstroke.
Yep.
So what are you going to do now? It might explain why he's a good guy now, or trying to be.
Yeah, I could see that.
Jace Jensen helping us out one more time. I forgot, does Bruce know his son is murdering people in a kind of Mortal Kombat tournament? no, the Robins know.
Yeah, they're not telling him.
Yeah, it's like open-ended if he's not telling. Also, he technically hasn't killed anyone yet. He's been fighting to kill, but fighting to kill on the knowledge that everyone gets like 3 lives.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is actually kind of genius on Williamson's part, because it means that Damian can be his most Damian and fight to kill, but not actually break any of Batman's rules.
Yeah.
Not actually break any of the rules. It'll be interesting to see what happens beyond this arc, though.
Yeah, no. Well, that all sounds really interesting. I gotta catch up on it, because I have read like issues 2 and 3, but I haven't read anything past that.
It's 6 issues deep now. It's a perfect time to check it out. This is maybe the best thing they've done with Damian since Super Sons, where it's like, yeah, let's put him in a fucking anime tournament.
Yeah, very much an anime tournament. He reads manga.
Not only does he read manga, but we hear Flatline's take on anime this issue, and it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, my mentor, Lord Deathman, doesn't like me reading manga. He always wanted me to stay away from it. Which is hilarious, because if you know anything about Lord Deathman, you'll know that he was an original manga character.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious that the guy from a manga doesn't like manga.
Yeah, that's great.
That shit's weird. It'll ruin your life. Don't read it. It's bad. Brought your brain. It's the friggin' gateway drug to tentacles.
Yep.
Saying that right now. This is known by the Lord Deathman.
His creed. It's his 10 commandments.
It's on his fucking coat of arms above the fireplace.
No anime.
It's the gateway drug to tentacles. Wow, such beautiful stitching. Isn't Lord Deathman a Pokemon fan? I think he actually is. Also, Jiro, his Batman stand-in, is in this series, too.
Oh, nice.
He's one of the background fighters. I think he gets killed in this issue, actually.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he doesn't stay dead. These guys fucking stay dead. I think he died in that he's out of the tournament, not died as in he's dead.
Yeah, well, he's dead. He's still dead because he's out of the tournament, so no one will remember him now. So
yeah,
he might as well be dead.
Until they eventually go to Japan, because it makes it seem like Flatline is going to be sticking around, and that's going to be an adventure that they go back to Japan.
Oh, nice.
Also, she seeks to imply that she's actively made Lord Deathman a better person, like he's less of a villain now and less crazy.
Oh, that's cool.
Because they formed a Batman and Robin relationship, and it makes Robin feel bad, being like, oh, I had that too once.
Nice.
Though, ironically, I was the crazy guy, or maybe my dad was the crazy. One of us was the crazy guy, but we made each other better. So that's a thing.
Awesome.
So yeah, I mean, is that it for this week's show, Matt? Feels like
I think so. Yeah, 2 hours.
Chopped it all up.
Gone on for 2 hours now.
Why is it always the episodes where I feel like
the shows we have nothing to talk about?
Yeah, that we're scrounging for news ends up being the weeks that we talk for 2 fucking hours.
I don't get it.
Well, you can't say you got shortchanged this week, everyone. All right, so thank you so much, everyone, for watching and listening. As always, we really appreciate it. Thank you for everyone who donated this week. We had a lot of great donations this week. It's it's why we try and simulcast, do it on Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah. Everyone who donates, Jace Jensen, Captain Kuhn, all you guys are fantastic. Thank you, everyone, and thank you everyone for just being here as well. Yeah,
yes,
Carter,
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, that means the world to us. Again, as always, if you're a patron, you'll be able to listen to this show first before anyone else, either be it on audio format or video format. We try and get those to you right away. Mm-hmm. As always, the show airs Wednesday, 8 a.m. on the Kate Joel channel. You can check us out there. And then on audio format, whenever I remember. I forgot this week, and I just put it up a couple hours before we started. So there you go. So thank you, everyone, for coming. If you want a delicious Wild Bill soda, I'll be sure to link that down in the description, too. You can use the Cape Joel, Cape Joel code there for 10% off. That's always appreciated. I got to go looking for more sponsors again. I feel like...
Yeah, we got to do another round.
I like doing those ad reads. That was fun. I need a company that will let us do ad reads every week.
Yeah.
Hey, if you know a company that'll let us do ad reads every week, tell us, and Matt and I will do sketches and shit. That's what I want to do. That's the next level of podcast I want to do, where Matt and I do sketches.
That'd be good, yeah.
We'll do Raid Shadow Legends, and we'll be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, we'll try and play it.
Yeah, really, and see what it's like. So I tried to play it, and my phone caught fire, so,
My phone is now a Bitcoin machine.
Yeah, aw, man. Hate it when that happens. hate it when something becomes a Bitcoin machine. All right, everyone, we're rambling now. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and Matt and I'll be back again next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.